Welcome back to ExpertX, the place that exposes everything in the world. Think you thought the trade war between the US and Canada was a thing of the past? Think again. President Trump has unleashed a fierce economic war with his latest round of tariffs. And this time, our beloved auto industry is in the eye of the storm. Canada has responded with a deadly blow. A 25% tariff on cars made in the US. The result is a tense chess match, with electric vehicles EVs caught in the middle. Whether you're a passionate mechanic or a trend analyst from the showroom, join me as we explore 5 reasons why this tariff war is causing major shakeups in the North American EV landscape. Reason 1. Redrawing the global auto map. It's not just about economics, it's about alliances and influence. Canada's long-standing relationship with the United States is showing visible cracks as Trump's tariffs put serious strain on the relationship. In response, Canada is eyeing closer ties with Mexico, the EU, and even Asia in sectors beyond traditional auto manufacturing. If Ottawa accelerates CEDA deals with Europe, or strikes new mineral sourcing deals with South America or China, the US could be left behind in the next wave of EV growth. Reason 2. The broken lane supply chain. The modern auto industry operates like a global machine. Every part supplier and shipment is timed precisely. But Trump's updated tariff book has disrupted that rhythm. Now, automakers across the US and Canada are scrambling to decipher which parts are subject to tariffs, which are exempt, and how to stay afloat without bleeding cash. Take aluminum and steel, the foundation of any vehicle. Trump's 25% section to 130 to tariffs have hit Canadian exports hard, but US automakers aren't spared either. Many rely on Canadian metals to keep their assembly lines running. Reason 3. EV growth derailed. Electric vehicles were on a meteoric rise until trade tensions slammed the brakes. The EV industry thrives on a complex global supply chain. Batteries from Asia, chips from Europe, and raw materials from South America. But with the new tariffs, that chain is under intense pressure. In the US, a 25% tariff on foreign parts has made manufacturing more expensive for EV makers like Tesla and Rivian, especially those importing from China and South Korea. Meanwhile, in Canada, retaliatory tariffs have made it more expensive to import US-made EVs unless they fully comply with the stringent requirements of the USMCA. The ripple effects are hard to ignore. Customers are hesitating. Dealers are seeing fewer customers. EV launches are being delayed and manufacturers are bogged down in paperwork. It's a logistical nightmare that's driving up costs and pushing the electrification dream further out of reach. And the looming wildcard, China. If Beijing restricts exports of lithium or rare earth elements, the entire EV sector could grind to a halt globally. The EV transition isn't being hindered by technology. It's being hindered by trade. Reason 4. The USMCA conundrum rulebook or legal barrier. The USMCA, the shiny new name for NAFTA, was supposed to streamline trade between Canada, the US, and Mexico under its rules. If a car is made with at least 75% North American content, it qualifies for duty-free treatment. But Trump's tariffs have changed the game. Citing national security under Section 232, the Trump administration is waiving the 75% threshold. Vehicles that meet USMCA rules can still be taxed if the US determines they contain too many foreign parts. This creates an uncomfortable paradox. Your EV could pass all the legal content checks, but still be hit with a 25% penalty because a few of its battery cells came from somewhere. Automakers are now bogged down in verification processes, customs paperwork, and ridiculous delays. What was supposed to be a commercial lifeline has become a bureaucratic roadblock, and for EV makers struggling to close the cost gap with gasoline-powered vehicles. These additional taxes could tip the scales in the wrong direction. And if that's not enough, let's talk about how this tariff chaos is directly stifling EV adoption across the continent. Before we dive in, do us a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us reach more car enthusiasts like you. Reason 5. Canada's meticulous retaliation 25% tariffs. Canada didn't just respond blindly. It responded with pinpoint precision. When Trump imposed a 25% tariff on imported cars and non-USMCA compliant goods, Ottawa responded with a 25% tariff of its own, carefully targeting cars made in the United States. Unlike Washington's blunt approach, however, Canada has fine-tuned its response. Automakers were given the option to seek relief, and critical parts were exempted. The message was clear. Canada doesn't want to disrupt supply chains. It's playing a smart, strategic game, but the impact is far-reaching. Cars made in the United States that use parts from outside North America, even those that are USMCA compliant, are now facing regulatory hurdles. This is bad news for brands like Ford and Stellantis. It's even worse for EV makers, who have traditionally relied on batteries from Asia and now face increased scrutiny at the Canadian border. The impact is already being felt. EV prices in Canada could skyrocket, while US automakers face growing uncertainty. Canada's pushback may be defensive, but it's certainly devastating. But tariffs on finished vehicles are just the beginning. The trade trap is deepening as even the USMCA becomes a battleground. Rumors of Canadian provinces working with European EV brands or Asian battery makers are spreading. At home, the situation is heating up too. Canadian opposition leaders are using the tariff chaos to question Prime Minister Carney's controlled trade strategy. Meanwhile, US politicians across the political spectrum are questioning whether this tariff gambit is worth it. In short, global automakers are waiting on the sidelines, watching the political gears turn and hoping someone will slam on the brakes before the damage becomes irreparable. Tariffs may have started as an economic lever, but they are now driving the entire direction of trade, technology, and the EV future. Final verdict. EVs in the crosshairs of a trade revolution.